begins now.
We are live right this second.
Yeah, we are live or live, depending on
Yeah,
how you read
barely
that.
live. Damn thing, the damn thing crashed on me. I had to restart it.
It was dead, and now it's live. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to hit this button.
Wow, that's broke.
And it's time, once again, for another fun-filled edition of
Insert title here.
the show that changes titles so often, we had to put a placeholder in. And we're not anything this week. In fact, I was sitting here, chilling out to some records, working on some puzzles, thinking to myself, my, what a wonderful Tuesday it is. And and then suddenly, suddenly, there's a rumbling from within my pants like crazy. And it's like... and so I set my phone to vibrate.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say so.
And so I take the phone out of my pocket. I'm like, what in the fuck is going... Did Brian find another website that has cat pictures? And I was like, hey, show? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. It's Monday, isn't it? So... This Monday was so long.
See, when you tweet me, I got nothing going on in my pants.
Yeah.
Because it turned off notification. Because I tweet to a lot of people. I got lots of responses.
Yeah.
Yeah. My, Trump always does something, so my pants would be rumbling all the time.
This is why I block him.
Well, but everybody talks about him, so
You let Cheetos in your pants, and they make an orange mess all over the place.
right. Yeah,
You
but
know?
this is
Just say no to the Cheeto.
Yep. Yeah, but I follow a lot of his, shall we say, non-supporters.
Well, I do
And
too.
some supporters as well. But, people keep talking about different things. Oh, anyway, one guy called him Mr. Tangerine.
Tangerine.
And
Isn't
I
that
says,
Salsa
oh, wait a
Orchestra
minute.
song?
Oh, you mean like Mr. Tangerine Man, the Bob Dylan song?
Hey, Mr. Tangerine. There we go.
Yeah,
And,
and this guy says, you just wrecked that song for me forever. I says, we would have been much safer if you stuck with orange.
All right. Tell you what, we can save this. We can salvage this because there's a great book. Actually, it's one of the books of the I need to turn that up. It's one of the books of the
Insert title here.
book club recommendation list, which is a great book that was written by basically a guy that did live sound for different bands and wrote a book about all of his experiences on the road. And let's see if I can find it here again. It is called Life on the Road, The Incredible Rock and Roll Adventures of Dinky Dawson. And he started out running sound for Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac. And then he left them around the time that he saw the writing on the wall and that Peter Green was just, done. And he was offered a job with the Byrds. And apparently there was that at some point the Byrds got a gig at some kind of a Columbia Records convention or CBS or whichever, and all the bigwigs are there and the Byrds are scheduled to play a set. And someone had a little special something to slip into the pitchers of whatever they were drinking. And so imagine a bunch of executives tripping balls on some LSD at this.
Oops.
So, no, apparently they were having a good time. Everyone, it just goes to show, I think and sometimes I think we're in the damn wrong time. Things are more fun back then. You could just, go to a meeting, have some LSD slip into the pitcher, and just trip balls, and it's okay. Everyone's happy. Everyone still has a job, and everyone gets where they need to go.
I mean, it took so long for it to become illegal, and when it did, they didn't know how to enforce it.
Legal LSD is not legal in any way, shape, or form.
But there wasn't an enforcement back then, so it was freely available.
And then
I shouldn't use the word free.
Well,
right?
there was another great story that he tells in this book about driving around on a European tour with the Byrds. And they went to one of those countries where everything's legal, and they got a nice big block of hashish. And they weren't. I guess they were driving to another gig in a different country, and they lost track of where the border is. And next thing they know, the authorities are boarding the van, and someone had the sense to take the block of hashish and stash it in the candy bar wrapper in front of the roadie, and because it just looked like a chocolate bar. And there you go.
Wow.
After they left,
now,
it's like
where the LSD got passed around the picture, was that in the record company?
No, it was at some convention at a hotel on some exotic island somewhere. I think
And was it it's a rock concert type thing?
Well, the Byrds were playing, so yeah, there was music, but there was also executives having meetings or about promotions and things like that. And
so whatnot. It was the record business.
It was the record business, yeah.
Okay, so that explains it.
Yeah, keeping it real. Anyways,
yeah, they're probably used to that.
I'm probably like butchering parts of these stories, so really, you got to buy the book. It's Life on the Road: The Incredible Rock and Roll Adventures of Dinky Dawson. You can get it. Oh my God! A new copy is $45. Oh, well, there's plenty of used copies though. You can get yourself a used copy for $14, including shipping. I keep mine on the back of the toilet, and I read a few pages every day.
All right, so you saw it on Amazon, right?
Yeah. Well, it was actually
it was called. I want to look that up because I didn't save that one.
Oh, you didn't save that one.
So
okay.
Incredible.
Let me pull that up again. Life on the Road. Just Google Life on the Road Dinky Dawson, and you'll find it. And I'll just go ahead and throw the link in the chat room there. And because every now and then I acknowledge that there are people chatting, and Shaz and Ellipsis Triangle Trap.
The paperback version is $10.
Ah, yeah. Well, that's
first edition.
Oh, I see. So what's the $45? It says new for $45, used for $14 or $13.97. I guess if you click on see all buying options. Oh, there we go. But used copies are $14.
What the hell is this?
I don't know. Why don't you tell us?
I typed in NHP Live for YouTube search to find chat room stuff, and it comes back with JHP Live.
JHP Live. Okay.
Yeah. How does it mistake an N for a J?
I don't know.
A bunch of shit that comes up.
Hello, we got Evan on the line.
There we go. How are you doing?
Yeah,
you guys are talking about hash.
Yes.
And hashtags.
Yes. Hashtags. That's exactly what we're talking about.
I figured it'd be a perfect opportunity for me to talk about my experience at Hash Bash.
Hash Bash.
It's a weekend.
And that's not a Twitter event, I take it.
No. Absolutely not. I wouldn't. Why the fuck would I go to
hashtag bash? You all get together and bash out some hashtags.
Yeah, we're going to a convention hall where we all just go and tweet.
Yes.
We all just stare at our phones.
You make sure you include hashtags on every tweet. It's the hash bash. There you go.
What the hell?
That does
no,
not...
but Hash Bash. It's an event in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I went on Saturday. I think it happens on. I think the event lasts through Friday through Sunday.
Well, that sounds like a good time.
But it's yeah. It was great. It was a great time.
So
I only went there one day out of the weekend.
So hash is like a more potent pot, or like a more pure, or what is that? More refined? Or
Yeah, it's an extract of cannabis.
I see. And now is that getting easier to find these days? I seem to recall that.
Oh yeah.
So is that legal along with the pot, or is that still?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So hash is legal
so.
again. Okay. Cool.
It is.
Especially in Michigan.
So, well, I mean,
No.
if hash is basically cannabis and we're legalizing cannabis, then I guess
And the
that
hash follows.
that probably depends on how the legislation is written state by state. Of course, it's still illegal on the federal level, but who
Right.
fucking cares about that?
Some people prefer hash because there's less plant material. There's less crap that you have to burn and inhale.
Ugh.
So
I don't know, man. The stuff
they
we
view it
got
as more
here in
pure.
Ohio is pretty fucking potent.
Now Dune writes in, when on weed, H does look like a J. So that might explain your typing problems there. Vanessa.
Right. Oh yeah. How about this? I type in Johnny Gators. Yes, Johnny Gators comes up first. But the second thing you were associated with is nursery rhymes, songs for kids with Gus the Gummy Gator.
Okay, all right. I just did a search for Johnny Gators, and first thing that comes up is my Twitter account. The second thing that comes up is my IMDb entry from when Ian Lee called us.
Oh, I'm in YouTube.
And then YouTube. Yeah, YouTube comes
There's
up.
a YouTube search.
fifth thing that comes up is fisting porn.
Wait, what?
Now what is that? Gators,
Hash?
can you explain that?
I don't know anything about. What are you looking at?
What about fisting porn?
No, that's what you have to explain.
I don't know what we're talking
Why
about.
are you mixed up with?
Where are you seeing this? And speaking of, well,
Oh.
no, I'm not going to do
Yeah,
it.
man. When
I'm
did
not-
you do a record?
When did I do a record? And speaking,
Yeah, it's only called Andro Banga When Shit Gets Real, featuring Johnny Gators.
Speaking of hash,
What?
I'm not fully aware of my past careers. Apparently, I'm gonna have to Google.
Oh
Now,
my god! What have you been doing?
I don't know.
you've got a strange and storied past, apparently.
All right, first things first, Evan. Where the heck are you seeing this fisting porn that I'm associated with? Because I'm not finding this.
Like I said, go
I
into
don't know.
go
I
into
just
Google
searched it up.
and
That's what
hit
came up.
Johnny Gators in search.
Oh, so
And
search.
That's what comes up.
So search Johnny Gators in YouTube, and it brings up fisting
I
porn.
said.
Not on YouTube.
All
Why
right.
would that come up on YouTube?
Well, that's what Venison said. Okay, so where did you search for me to find it?
Oh, I was searching on the dark web.
Oh,
Puff.
Well, see, that's your problem.
that's the
Oh, shit.
when you search the dark web,
should stay
every
off
other
there,
thing
maybe.
you find is related to fisting porn. So it doesn't really matter what term you search.
Dude, when you're looking up porn on the dark web, everything is fisting porn. I once looked up porn on the dark web and I saw guys
Oh, God,
straddling and having their fist all the way up, well, no, their arm, like, up to here, up a guy's ass. I was like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Inseminating a fucking cow?
Are you having
Is that even
sex
pleasurable?
or auditioning for a role on the Muppets?
Exactly! I'm like, what the fuck?
This is just no.
Talk about going above and beyond the prostate. Are you like jerking off the prostate at that point? Talk about that's not even tickling it.
Prostate, that's way back there. We're going for the tongue right at this point. We're working our way through the digestive system backwards. It's
Trying to find the small intestines here.
It's like a little bit of corn stuck up in there somewhere. Mind if you grab it? Sure, let me put on a glove.
okay, and also Venison is right. If you search Johnny Gators on YouTube, the first thing that comes up is a link to my channel. Second thing that comes up is my broadcast from Saturday night of beating Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo. Third entry that comes up is today's show right now. The fourth thing that comes up is Nursery Rhymes Song for Kids with Gus the Gummy Gator.
Gus the Gummy Gator? What
Gus
the fuck?
the Gummy Gator.
I like your little side
Gummy
gig
Gator.
there.
Oh yeah, I know Gator's new nickname now. Gummy Gators.
And oddly enough, Gus the Gummy Gator is a puppet, which means there's a hand up his ass.
And there are no
So-
teeth. No teeth involved.
jeez.
at all.
So Gators, is there usually a hand up your ass?
No,
He's chewy
I
as
think
rubber.
there is.
no.
Just
No.
not right now.
I think there is. Where's
No.
Kristen? Where's Kristen?
Not here.
Do you, does she finger your asshole?
No.
Oh no.
She has the
Only
giant
during sexy
Kong and
time.
she throttles your ass.
Wait a second. I
See,
just realized something.
see,
You're trying to distract me. I'm trying to talk about Hash Bash.
I think Hash Bash is sounds like more fun than fisting or a finger up the bum. So let's go back to Evan's story about Hash Bash.
Yes, Mr. Lloyd's story. Come to think of it, there's hardly any story to it.
You did a bunch of hash.
I just went to a weed convention. I got fucking stoned as fuck. I walked around. I almost freaked out, but I didn't. That's what was kind of cool. I almost freaked out, but I didn't. I ate like 3 edibles. I smoked a couple of bowls.
Now you're supposed to go slow on the edibles because they take time to kick in, and I know this because people have told me this. I'm
But I'm a stoner.
not trying the edibles, but my brother had some video evidence of what edibles can do to you. Because my
Oh,
brother
really?
Yeah, well, my brother had a
What
friend
happened?
that got married, and before he got married, they had to do the whole traditional thing of let's get in a plane, let's go to the other side of the country, and let's do a whole bunch of stupid shit and blow a whole bunch of money, so that I could be as hungover as I possibly can come wedding day, and so they did that, and they went out to Seattle. And my brother had such a good time that he
They have weed there.
yeah. My brother had such a good time that he upgraded his ticket to come home a day early. That's how good of a time they had there. And my brother brings up a video of them all hanging out in the park there, and they're all kind of like just screaming, like, ah! And I'm like, what's this about? It's like, well, they bought a bunch of
They
edibles.
became Hare Krishnas.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But they bought a bunch of edibles.
Tantrums.
And they ate the edibles, and they waited like 5 seconds, and it's like, this ain't kicking in. So they ate more edibles, and
Oh no.
Oh no.
they made the rookie
Yeah.
mistake.
No.
And that's how they
Yeah.
all ended up hanging out in the park going, ah.
They turned Buddhist.
So,
You know what? Speaking of Hare Krishnas, I actually saw some at Ann Arbor. That's weird that you mentioned that, Brian.
They're still around.
Oh, sure. They
Yeah.
are.
I couldn't believe it. I saw some Indian people. They
Uh,
were dancing. They were drumming. They were trying to raise some money for, I don't know what the fuck for, but something.
But you were on hash. People were dancing. People were drumming. Fun was had by all.
And everybody
I-
thought it was
I-
cool.
Yeah.
I hung around for a minute to
Yeah.
watch them.
I ran into that in Chicago Airport back in the 70s, and they were white people that were doing that.
Oh, sure there
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's all
It
kinds
kinda-
of people that do that.
Yeah, why not?
A couple years ago, I went to a maker fair, where you got all this computer stuff,
yeah.
tech stuff, and
Yeah.
homesteaders and all kinds of crap going on. And I saw a bunch of them just kind of marching in a row. They were probably playing
Huh.
instruments or something like that.
Huh.
They're cool.
Yeah, no, it's all good fun for everyone. And Neo is having a little fun of her own.
Leave me the fuck alone.
No, this is great. This is great. This is good fun.
Finally found a way to prop up my tablet I took my little easel so that way I'm like not holding the fucking tablet. I can actually do something.
Just free up a hand to get the get your groove on.
Oh, that's a bubblerize. I like bubblerize.
Yeah, I freed up a hand. Yeah.
Freed up a hand so you can just go shove it up someone's. Wait, what? Never mind.
Yeah, I freed up a hand.
Now, Brian, you earlier today I tweeted something when I discovered something. I made a discovery because I had, when you work in the help desk, one person's garbage becomes your garbage, and of course, and that's
what
how
I'm here for.
And that's how the Tharco IT department ended up being the holder of the bookbinder, because obviously a bookbinder is clearly computer equipment that needs to go to the help desk people to figure out what to do with it. I found it worked great to prop a door open if a doorstop ever disappeared. It was big.
It was
heavy. Yeah. I actually did do that once.
Oh my god.
And it was not electronic. It wasn't even an electronic bookbinder. It was like, you had this big handle that crunched down that could, poke a bunch of holes in the edge of a stack of papers so that you could then take the plastic binding and just kind of curls around, throw it in there. And so, but that's not what happened. This time was actually kind of cool. Apparently there was a department that used to use a few iPads to do things, and they don't use them anymore. So someone handed me this iPad that no one has any use for anymore, and it's a third-generation iPad. And apparently I can upgrade it to iOS 9.3.5, although every time I click install now, it spins around and does nothing. So
what level is it at now?
Where does it tell me that?
Settings, general, about.
Is this what you were bitching about on Twitter earlier?
Yes,
Yep.
This is exactly. Well, no, settings general. Here we go. About.
Hey, by the way, Neo, what does your shirt say?
What?
Let's make a what? Let's make a what?
Hold on.
Has some bears.
Says let's make a panda.
Let's make a
Says
panda.
let's make a panda.
Oh, I see. It's a black bear and a polar bear.
Yeah, it's a black bear and a polar bear. And it says let's make a panda.
They're gonna fuck is what's gonna happen here.
Oh god.
I always get people going, "Oh, that's so cute." I'm like, right.
No, I think that is. I'd wear that. So
People just, yeah.
It says it's on version 9.2.1.
Okay.
And when I go to update to 9.3.5, I hit the install now button. The little thing rotates around a bit, and eventually it just stops, and it never actually updates.
Because mine is on 9.3.5, and it's an iPad 3.
Now, when I try to install any of the cool apps, it basically says you have to be on at least OS X.
Well, then you just hit the OK then, and it installs. I just installed Twitch on mine after you said that.
I did not see that option. Because, I was right on Twitter because I thought it was kind of bullshit that...
You went through the App Store, right?
Yeah, all right. So
and
I'm
you
on
found Twitch.
Maybe, what do these go for on eBay these days? Do these have any value anymore?
This one was free.
All right,
well, actually, my mother gave it to me.
Install. Okay. And, of course, every time you want to install something free, it's got to ask you to type in your password every damn time. Because that's convenient.
Actually, I think you can change
that. Yeah, I think that's what you have it set up to be.
Yeah. All right, and now it says save password for free items. Oh, thank you for asking me that now. This application requires iOS 10.0 or later. You must update to iOS 10.0 in order to download and use this application. Okay, and that's the end of the story. Thank you for playing. Please come again.
What is getting stoned? I love that.
No,
So you were trying to install Twitch.
Yeah. and it says that I have to have 10.0, and the only thing I can do is click OK, which makes it go away.
How many people vote that Johnny's doing it wrong?
All right. Here we go. Here's my screen. And over here is Twitch, live game streaming.
You know what?
Nope. I don't
is
do
so
Apple.
sophisticated and high class that Johnny just doesn't get it.
I don't get
I don't do Apple because it sucks nuts.
Thank you, Lulu. This is what I've been saying.
That's kind of beside the story. Why can't he make it work?
What? Question for you.
And why
No,
can't you
seriously, fuck Apple.
upgrade to the latest? I mean, the latest on this bad boy is 9.3.5 or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, Johnny, why don't you just upgrade to the latest? Just buy.
The whole point of this is that it was free.
And the thing is,
pay money.
the newer ones are way lighter than this boat anchor.
Well,
Pay money.
here's my biggest problem. So this thing has what
Pay
about?
more money.
And do you like the charging cable on this bad boy?
That is this one uses the same thing.
That's right.
All right. Well, here's the other problem. Even if I get to that point, let's say I get the software updated, I get the Twitch to install, and I decide this is a great thing to bring with me on a plane to spend 5 hours with, it's like, well, it's a 16 gig model, which means that I have about 10 gigs worth of space that I could actually use. So
Where's my phone? I think my butt ate my phone.
did you shove your phone up your? Wait, what?
Yes, we got off the topic of Apple. But no, really, I think my butt ate my phone.
So where do I insert?
Inconvenient.
So where do I insert the USB flash drive for all the extra stuff I stored? Where do I connect that?
You'll have to see if they still have the old adapters that let you do that.
Yeah. All right,
I
that's
think
all.
the new ones probably do.
That's all I have.
Now, the other thing,
Let's
the
talk about
iPad-
Lulu's butt now.
the iPad
have you found the
4
phone?
I found
Yeah,
it.
the
I
iPad
found it.
4 uses the lightning cable,
Okay, good for
so you
that.
can use all of those different attachments. And I have one of those too. And of course, it's also heavy as a brick.
Okay. Very good.
Do we have a robot that's trying to talk to us?
Yes, someone's looping back, and it's gating out. And when it gates out, it sounds like a robot. But that's okay. It'll probably come and go.
That's what it was.
Yeah, because then I heard us loop back. It seems to have evened out, though. I did get it to work with Angry Birds, though.
Well, that's all you need.
But I suppose. Well, no, I don't need Angry Birds anymore. I have a book.
Angry
A
Birds?
book for Angry Birds.
No.
Angry book?
Well, no. Like I said earlier, I keep
Is it
the
a
book.
Stephen King novel?
No, like I said earlier, we got the book I was talking about, the Dinky Dawson book. I keep it on the back of the toilet, so I don't need Angry Birds. Because the only place I ever played Angry Birds was on the toilet.
On the toilet, right?
Yeah. See,
You could try
took
a second
steps.
book.
Yeah, well, once I finish this book, I'll get another book.
You're a one-at-a-time linear kind of guy?
Yeah, well, I'm reading this book now, and then I'll read another book. I have a bunch of Choose Your Own Adventures books in the box in the basement.
That's what did it.
Let's play our Choose Your Own Adventure book on the air.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
I could go get one now. No, actually,
You might as well just do World of Warcraft or like Dungeons and Dragons on air.
yeah, why not? No,
Who
but
wants to be the DM? I got the 20 die.
I don't know how to play. I'm not stoned enough.
Yeah, but a good DM could walk you through it, right?
I
Right,
guess so.
Lulu?
Did you say you stoned
Yeah.
enough?
Isn't that what Dungeons and Dragons is about? Getting stoned and hanging out in dungeons?
God.
No, it's about eating Funyuns and drinking Coca-Cola and like
Well, yeah.
going
If you get
until
stoned,
3 a.m.
Cheetos.
at night.
if you
And
get
Cheetos.
stoned, you're
And Cheetos.
and Funyuns.
My one friend tried to get me to play this one complicated board game. It sounded a little bit like Dungeons and Dragons. It was like a It was like a dungeon crawling game. It was like an RPG board game.
Yeah, I have.
But he made the mistake of getting us all drunk and high before playing the game. I don't know how that's supposed
think
to
we
work
should have
out.
a dungeon. I think we should have a Dungeons and Dragons theme.
I
going
couldn't
on.
understand a goddamn thing about that game.
We
I was trying to. I really was trying to figure out the game, but I couldn't fucking understand anything about the game.
There are games like that.
I don't remember what it was called, like Hero Quest or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
It was some obscure board game.
I picked up a board game off of eBay when I was in college, and finally got around to playing it about a month ago or so. I have the K-Tel Records board game.
Wicked.
God damn it.
What the fuck?
It's basically you're a band trying to make money, and whoever is the richest by the time you get to the end of the board wins the game. And every now and then you have an option to release a record, and the game came with this little 45 RPM record that has 3 sets of grooves in it, and you drop the needle on it, and it'll either play something that says that it's a hit, or it breaks even, or it's a flop. And if it's a hit, you get money. Break even, whatever, you just continue on. You didn't make anything. If it's a flop, you owe money. And it's kind of a fun game. You just have to play it nearby a turntable, which is no problem in this place.
Oh my god.
It was actually
Just
better
you. Just fucking you, man. Just you would have a board game like that.
Somebody had to. Somebody had to. It fell on him.
Yeah, it was on eBay, and I was like, if I don't bid on it, no one will. Someone's got to own this. And so it was actually it was more fun than I was expecting, because I gotta tell you, as much as I love K-Tel, I did not have high expectations for their board game creation abilities. But no, it was actually a pretty fun game.
Oh my god.
Okay.
No, what about you, Venison?
Fuck?
What board games do you like, Venison?
Well, not too many. Monopoly, I like. Are weird versions.
Weird versions.
Yeah, like Mafia Monopoly. That was cool.
Now, for a while, I would play Monopoly with Emily and her friends and family, because they'd all be playing, and I'd set up a board here, and then they'd have like a piece for me on their board. And you could actually play Monopoly via internet over, webcam. The only thing is it got awkward when they would play with anything goes rules as far as trades go, which we thought it was unfair when Emily started like offering sexual favors and trades to her husband on the property trades, because how could you compete with that? So that kind of that's what it's like. Okay, I think we have to talk about these anything goes rules. Maybe we need some limits here.
I'll let you fuck me in the ass for Boardwalk.
Oh. Not for Boardwalk.
It's like, how the fuck? No, but you know what I mean. It's like, I'll let you fuck me in the ass for Boardwalk.
That's
It's
pretty
like, what
much.
the fuck?
That's not far from the truth. That's
Yeah, but it would be like cheating, though, right?
the
Because-
rules we set were anything goes in trades.
Also, change the community chest and chance cards to whatever you want them to be. Like I said, our version of Mafia Monopoly was definitely cool. You pick up a community chest card, throw it out of the chance card, and you owe $3,000, or one hotel, or all your houses are burned to the ground.
Whoa.
Mafia Monopoly, I see.
Uh-huh. Pay $200 for protection money.
Protection money, yeah. You gotta do that. Gotta pay the protection money. Yeah, no, we didn't quite go that way with the rules, but every now and then it was interesting when you had the anything goes for trades, and but I mean there were clean ways you could do that, like immunity on certain properties. Like, I'll trade you this property, but you have to give me like no rent on that property for the next 2 times I land on it, or something like that. Because I remember go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. I was having problems with my mic just a second ago.
Ah.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So
it's back now. Okay. Anyways.
Anyways, yes, and fun was had by all at Hash Bash. Was the whole point of this call. Now, did anyone break out a Monopoly board at Hash Bash?
I don't believe so. I didn't see any Monopoly boards.
I think that needs to happen next year.
I didn't see any board games at all, actually.
Someone needs to bring the board games to next year's Hash Bash.
Video games or video game console?
I think the most popular video game at Hash Bash is the pretty colors. Yeah, it just displays different patterns.
I saw a guy in a werewolf mask playing a violin. That was kind of cool.
If I was going to see that somewhere, if I saw that, I'd probably be like, "Wait a minute, did I enter Hash Bash?"
and maybe I should back off.
This is definitely
on
Hash
Wii.
Bash now.
Oh man, it's like that one picture floating around on the web. Darth Vader dressed up as a Scotsman, playing the bagpipes on roller skates.
Oh, that's one of those.
That's the coolest ever.
That's one of those pictures that like makes no sense, and no one can explain where it came from or why.
And everybody likes it.
Pretty much, just a random shot of this dude, a Scottish Darth Vader.
Yeah, all right. I'm just gonna Google image right now. This picture makes no sense, and see if we can find that one if it shows up there. So here we go. We here are the pictures that make no sense. So we do have Darth Vader filling up a jug from a Britter pitcher in the ocean. So that doesn't make much sense. Of course, we got my favorite. The guy in a tuxedo holding a sewing machine with a off-the-road UPS truck in the background, and the police kind of milling around there. I still, to this day, want to talk to the guy who took this picture. Because why is he holding a sewing machine? Why is he now obviously he's at a wedding and the UPS driver forgot to put the parking brake on or something, but the sewing machine just doesn't fit into here anywhere. That's the one thing I can't figure out.
I've seen that picture before.
Well, that's why it's on this list.
Yes. Okay. Now we got a guy that is strapped into the back of a taxi with an ironing board set up, and he's ironing. You know what? This is time management. He's got someplace to be. He needs to have well pressed clothes, but he has to leave now if he's going to get there on time. So what do? You iron your clothes on the way there, and there ain't no room inside of a taxi to iron. Anyone knows this.
Yes, there is.
Not if you're going to set up a full ironing board like he's got set up there.
Maybe you should take a
No, you can steam it.
Yeah.
You can steam the bitch.
That just doesn't do as good a job as a fine press.
Back of a car.
Good. All right. So now we got people crawling on the ground with smiley-faced propane. Smiley-faced like Lego heads on their heads. Okay, that one. That's just weird. We're gonna move right along here. Here we go. We got Darth Vader sitting at a table, levitating a McDonald's meal with a couple making out in the next booth.
What?
I think that's supposed to be an actual McDonald's ad in some country. Let's see. This makes sense. I don't know why this comes up under. This picture makes no sense. It's a picture of Jesus walking with a bear, with the caption "Footprints." When you only saw one set of footprints in the sand, that's when I let the bear eat you.
What the fuck?
Well, we all know the story about like the guy that was looking at all the pictures of his lifetime and always sees two sets of footprints in the sand, but in the hardest times of his life, he only sees one set. And he's like, Jesus, why did you leave me in those times? He's like, no, that's when I carried you. So this is a spin on that. No, that's when I let the bear eat you.
Oh. What the hell?
Okay. Here's a picture of some old-timey boxers, one very fat, one very thin and tall and leggy.
What?
And I think that's a baby head.
Oh.
But I'm not seeing the one you talked about. Although it looks like, is this guy trying to shoot with a dog, or is he trying to take a hit of something out of a dog's ass?
What the fuck?
All right. So which one? What was it you were talking about? You saw Venison with Darth Vader?
Oh,
It's a video. It's a video. Type in Darth Vader with bagpipes.
Oh, okay. Bagpipes. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Darth Vader in a Scotsman outfit, playing the bagpipes on roller skates.
Okay. All right. Well, it's not a full Darth Vader uniform, though. But there are flames.
He's on a unicycle.
But there are flames coming out of the bagpipes.
And the sign on the wall says, "Keep Portland weird."
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's that guy, but he does other ones. He does one when he's on like a BB-8 with Darth Vader and a black kilt. He does one when he's on a big blow-up ball where he...
Yeah, he does. Oh, here he is as Willy Wonka.
Oh, no.
Now, how do you get your bagpipes to flame like that? That is...
I don't know.
Oh, I think he actually has...
plugged in the other end. You know what I'm saying?
Ah. See, this is why Portland is weird. This is great.
Now, is that Portland, Oregon, or the other one?
No, that'd be Portland, Oregon. I'm pretty sure Portland, Oregon is the one that's got the "Keep Portland Weird" slogan.
Yeah. Oregon itself is just weird. It's like the backwoods of California without the rules.
Or the taxes.
Or the taxes.
Or the ability to pump your own gas.
No, they actually passed something where rural communities can now pump their own gas, and for a while, it was a local thing where we were making fun of the Oregonians because they didn't know how to pump their own gas.
So you mean New Jersey? New Jersey's now the last lone holdout as far as not being allowed to pump your own gas.
The remaining civilized state.
Now here's the thing. Growing up in Jersey, there'd be times where my dad pulled into a gas station, and if an attendant wasn't there, he got out of the car and he started pumping the gas. No one ever gave him trouble for this. And so when I found out like Portland was like that, and someone was like, "Man, you show up in Portland at a gas station without a state plate, good luck. You might have to wait for service." I'm like, "Oh fuck that! I'll just get out and start pumping." And it's like, no, you don't do that in Oregon. They will prosecute. They
yeah. But now in the more rural communities, you will have to get out and pump your own gas.
Now they couldn't enforce it.
didn't have to do that in Jersey. I pump my own gas anyway.
Yeah. I mean, technically, you're not allowed to in Jersey, but no one enforces that. But in Oregon, I guess they did enforce that. Now, you say rural. Does that mean you still can't pump it in city areas, or you can, but generally they're full service, or what's?
Generally, they're full service, but I think at certain hours you can pump your own gas.
Okay, so it's okay.
So my favorite thing is you go into a public restroom and the sign says employees must wash hands. You know, I keep waiting for that bastard, but he won't come.
Oh, I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah,
okay, someone sent me a animated GIF of a whole bunch of it's a never-ending loop of Darth Vader's on unicycles.
Oh,
Yes.
with some with flames and some without.
Yeah,
Awesome.
this is that's a lot of Darth Vaders.
I'm sure that's photoshopped.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Theo, how many hits have you had so far?
Mean.
Full ball? Why?
And I'm just curious
Amount.
because I had
I'm
some
about-
hits delivered today that stunk like hell,
Huh?
and you cannot hold it in because you'll cough your brains out. I've only had 7 hits this whole entire afternoon, and I can't take any more.
Yeah, I had a bowl earlier. This is my second bowl today, and I'm about to poke, do a third. Why?
No, just checking the potency, because this shit is.
Oh
strong.
no, this is. No, I'm finishing off Fire Alien OG, which is only an 18% THC, and it's not really that potent for a indica sativa mix hybrid. I got kind of gypped at the dispensary up in Oregon.
See, this
Okay.
this is where I need to learn more because
a smoking hash.
No, I'm smoking flower, dude.
Well, I'm sorry.
anyways.
No, it's fine. I'm gonna smoke some of my the flower that I grew last year. That shit's a little more potent.
I don't know. I still got
7 hits, and I don't even want to move anymore.
I still got stuff kicking around that I haven't smoked yet, but I don't know. It makes me tired. I need to find a better strand.
Smoke it.
Well, not
Well, it
tonight.
also depends on what your body is going to be susceptible to, because some bodies, like, the chemistry of your body will like more of a sativa than an indica. Some bodies like more indicas than sativas. Some like there's just variations and stuff.
See,
like
w-
I like more indicas.
See,
and
we just need to
sativas.
hang out for like a week, and then it can be like, here, try this night, and then take notes, and then here, try this, and then at the end of the week, you got to be like, well, here's what you should, it's kind of like they're
But
online.
at this point, you'd have to go to Rhode Island, right?
Rhode Island.
Right?
Why?
Is it legal in Massachusetts now?
No, it's legal.
Oh,
No.
okay.
They don't really
I
have
missed the memo.
it's been legal for a while now, but they're still like finalizing things and setting things up. But I know there are places you can get edibles.
Right.
Yeah. But no,
Someday, me and you Gators, we're gonna smoke a bunch of weed. And we're gonna get so fucking high.
Already
We're gonna
am.
listen to we're gonna listen to some like old '70s records.
we could do that.
I
I got the
don't
records.
know how that's gonna happen. But
Well,
I don't know where Ohio
Days
gets
apart.
shit from, but man, this shit is strong.
we need to all.
What are you
like,
smoking?
Weed, that's all I know of. There's no name to it or nothing.
Dio here is
Like
talking
always,
about
it's strong.
the contents and the strains, and I prefer this and that. And we asked Vanessa, "What do you got?" Weed. I got weed.
It didn't
Well,
come
do
with
you
a
know
name.
if it's do you know if it's indica or sativa or hybrid?
I have no idea.
You can't even tell. You can't even estimate.
What?
No.
Wait, what was that question again?
I don't
just
know.
he just gave some guy some money, handed him a bag of oregano, and he thinks he's getting stoned. That's pretty much.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
That's it.
Maybe.
Now, my go-between, was pretty good at that. He's
I-
a good friend, and he wouldn't stiff me.
Actually, I think I found some audio footage of Venison getting stoned back in the day here. I think this is Venison back in the day getting stoned.
What?
That's Cheech and Chong, man.
Well, I was trying to find the point where they start talking about what's in it. Let's see.
Labrador.
No problem at all, man.
There we go.
Talk it up, man. Kind of grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it? What? What?
First of all,
Oh. What's in this shit, man? Mostly Maui Wowie, man. Yeah? But it's got some Labrador in it. What's Labrador?
Some Labrador.
What? Yeah, my dog ate my stash, man. Had it on the table and the little motherfucker ate it, man. Yeah? So I had to follow him around the little baggie for 3 days before I got it back. Really blew the dog's mind.
There you go. Smoking
Got
dog.
Labrador in it.
It's got some, mostly Maui Wowie, but it's got some Labrador in it.
God. What the hell?
Oh, that's fucking priceless.
That I think is the what Venison smoking. He's got the Labrador.
I will be right back. I'm gonna put myself on mute.
Okay. Here we go. So,
I'm surprised you don't have the bong hit.
it's I had the sound, but I didn't need to. We heard enough of it come right through the microphone.
But it is the one where I start coughing like crazy.
I don't know. I don't know. We will find out.
Apparently, that one got around quite a lot. I don't even know how, but somebody must recorded it.
But anyways, yeah. So I don't know. The stuff that Gothic brought me makes me sleepy, but maybe it was because I was smoking it at night. So maybe I need to try it during the day.
And you tried no more than 3 hits because you have a low tolerance at that point, and yeah.
No, I had to take a few hits before I felt it, and then because one night Seth brought it, we were just hanging out downstairs watching YouTube videos, and eventually it devolved into watching YouTube videos about animated characters that get stoned and work at a record store, and and at some point it was like, boom. And I felt great, man. But all I wanted to do was sit in the couch and not move. So
yeah, get a situation where I don't feel anything yet, so you take some more.
Yeah.
And the creep up effect, and it hits you full force.
Right.
And you go, why did I do that?
See, if you do that with smoking, you just end up glued to the couch and watching YouTube videos. If you do that with edibles, you end up in a park in the middle of the day going, ah. So that's once again, that's this is my observations. Your mileage may vary.
You know what, man? I'm at that point in my life. I've been stoned enough times. I kind of like being super high.
I don't know. It's being super anything is great at the time. It's kind of like Well, with drinking,
Well,
it's
with drinking, I kind of like being super drunk, but only once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, because there are those wild nights where, you have a beer and then you have a few more beers and
Then it turns into 25.
and then okay, who's
Somebody breaks out to 151.
okay, and then who's
Oh,
the most
jeez.
who's the most sober to go to the liquor store to buy another few 30 packs of Bud, and then those boxes turn up empty, and then yeah, the 151 rum comes.
Jeez.
It's kind of like a 6-pack in a shot glass right there, and but I just remember those nights where I would you're peeing every like 5 or 10 minutes because you're drinking beer, and I kind of like give myself this look in the mirror like I'm getting fucked up. How much farther can I push this? I don't know. I need to slow down, and then you go down, have a few more beers, you get up, look at yourself in the mirror, and go, I feel great. Gonna go all night, and that's when you're of course, you feel like you're doing that, but it's more like because you can't stand still, and there's this tipping point, around 5 or 6
when you tip over.
Yeah, no,
Pretty much.
There's a tipping point that you don't tip over because you've gone past the tipping point. Now, if you get to like 5 or 6 beers. Well, for me at this point, like 5 or 6 beers is like, I've had enough. I need to slow down. I need to drink water and call it a night. Now, if I decide to push on beyond that, you kind of get to this like no pain, everything is great, who cares about tomorrow point. And that's the dangerous point, because that's a point where it's like the only thing that's going to stop you is the lack of ability to get to more booze. And oh man, can that be a fun night? But oh man, is that going to be a rough morning? And I've had a few of those nights.
No, fun night is when you're sitting at the end of a cul-de-sac, drinking 151 and Coke, and you set on a radio station where all you hear is "Hello, baby, want to kiss?" for 20 minutes.
I have that record.
Yeah. Then you decided to go to New York City, where you're already plastered. You go to New York City and run around there for a while, check out all the sights down in the village, and decide to come home when drunkenly we turned a corner, turned another corner, then looked at Barrack Street completely empty.
Hello. Hello, baby.
It was scary. No cars, no
Hello.
people.
Hello, baby.
Subway going across.
So you found a radio station that was playing this in the middle of the night?
Baby.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Pretty much all night.
Hello, baby.
And we came back from New York City.
Hello.
And it was still
Hello,
going.
baby. Hello. Hello,
How long is this? What's the runtime on this?
Hello.
5 minutes, 41 seconds.
Hello, baby.
I take it doesn't change at all. It just does this.
Hello.
Let's skip ahead.
Sometimes they'll do,
Want a
hello,
kiss?
baby. Hello,
Kiss?
baby. Want to
Hello,
kiss?
baby. Want a kiss?
There it is.
Second verse,
Hello,
same as the first.
baby. Want a kiss?
You're supposed to play this for your
Hello,
parakeet
baby.
to teach
Want
it how
a
to
kiss?
talk.
Hello, baby. Want a kiss? Hello, baby. Want
Yeah,
a
they would
kiss?
edit it, do various things to it.
has learned these phrases. Proceed with the lessons on the other side of this record.
So there you go. That's someone at a radio station was also drunk and or stoned and just grabbed the nearest record and set it on
Oh
repeat.
boy, we were drunk. We carried a jar with us, with the mixture, and carried it around New York and passed it around.
Who was driving?
Me.
And okay, Well, you didn't kill anyone, so that's what's important.
I didn't kill anyone and didn't do anything dumb.
And we wouldn't recommend ever trying this.
No. But Tank and I were one. Tank drove. Tank knew what he was doing.
But if you are going to do this, just make sure
Hello,
you know your car.
That you put on the appropriate driving music.
Hello, baby. Want a kiss?
this,
Hello,
Steppenwolf?
baby. Want a kiss? Hello, baby.
No, I don't think it is.
Born to be Wild, right?
Born to be Wild. Yeah, that's the remix version.
Right.
No, I needed Radar Rider. I think it was done by the Riggs.
I just it's funny talking about driving music and Steppenwolf. I remember I remember a conversation with Nick once. Because Nick always had like classical music. Nick always had the most boring driving music that you could find. And I think he had a Madame Butterfly CD that was stuck in the CD player for a few years. And at some point he found the eject button and put a different opera in. But he was talking about driving down to Southern California. I was like, well, you got to get some better driving music on. And he's like, oh, no. If I put on, louder music, I'll drive more aggressively. And I'm thinking to myself, wait, you could drive worse than you do now? Things you don't say out loud. Right. And Brian knows what I'm talking about. Nick was, I swear he took some driving lessons in Jersey. Because he didn't do the hand gestures, but he had the rest of it down pat.
Yeah, you can play your.
He didn't drive that much.
No, in the right lane. But if you get in that left lane, your ass better be on a rock and roll.
Well, he didn't drive all that much, but when he did, he would curse out anyone else that was on the road.
Sure, right. Like he's the guy who was experienced, and he wasn't. Yeah. He was talking about trading in his car and get a newer one. It's like, how many miles you got on this? 30,000?
Well, but it was
and it's a
mooning
dozen
him.
years old. Come on, man.
But it was mooning him because the tire sensor was off, so it kept on showing the flat tire light on it. Which I think for over a year he was like, I need to bring it in and get that looked at this weekend. And
that means the car's about to die.
No, it was fine. It's an indication of low tire pressure, but the tire pressure was fine. So
the sensor was off.
Right,
Whatever.
the sensor was off.
So why didn't he just get that fixed?
That's the question.
Well, that's the point.
That's the point of the story.
So I knew a guy that had a Mitsubishi truck. At 100,000 miles, the idiot light came on that says, check your engine.
Right.
Basically means, hey, get this looked at.
Right.
Well, he ignored it, and at 200,000 miles, it turned itself off.
So it turned on at 100,000, it turned off at 200,000.
It's just a toggle switch. Electronic toggle.
That happens.
That's
toggle switch.
That's great. That's great. That is absolutely. Those guys.
What happens with those engine lights is after so many ignitions of the engine, it'll turn itself off.
Well, it's like the code's
after
clear.
It gets activated.
Well, the code will clear itself after a certain number of times, and if it was just an isolated thing, it'll stay off. But if you get that code again, it'll turn back on.
Yeah.
Like in California, if you've got the check engine light, on, whether it goes off or not, when they hook it up to do the smog, they'll know that you need to fix your damn vehicle.
But if it turns off and it stays off,
and they'll assassinate you if you don't fix it.
That's right.
Well,
even if you reset the thing, they'll say, you're going to have to come back later so that there's some data there. Because we know you just fucking reset it.
Right. It has to be
you're not fooling
cleared.
anybody.
It has to be cleared. They have to have... okay. Well, it's a little different in Maine. Car inspections in Maine go a little something like this, because I had a car that the check engine light came on because there was a sensor that was off that was related to the gas gauge. So I just kept track of the trip odometer and fueled up whatever I was reaching the area of miles that I knew was, around a quarter of a tank left. Because when I asked about that, they said, well, that sensor's probably in the gas tank there. We're going to have to drop the gas tank, get that out. That's going to be... And I'm like, okay, all right, we'll think about that. And I just, a few years went by without ever doing this. But, before a year went by, I was due for inspection. And so I called them up, and I said, can my car pass inspection if the check engine light's on? And they're like, well, by state law, if there's any alerts that are showing, we have to fail for that. I'm like, oh, that's... Well, I'm
Jesus.
like, well, hold on, who am I talking to? And I said, oh, it's, John the Guitars. I got my... oh, hold on a second. Let me ask Mike. So she goes, Mike gets the phone and goes, oh, sure, bring it right in. I know you're not a state inspector. And I brought it in, slapped a new sticker on it, and that's car inspection in Maine.
Did you have to pay extra for that, or was that the standard rate?
Nope, standard rate.
What a guy. What a guy.
Because he knew there wasn't a real problem. It was just a sensor that was off. So, it was...
Right.
I probably shouldn't be telling the story. I definitely won't say where this place was in Maine.
Well, other than Maine?
I think there's a lot of bikes in Maine.
Did this guy actually know you?
Yeah, he knew me. I regularly took my car there to be serviced. That's why when, my name was dropped. It's like, oh, sure, bring it on in.
Inside help.
So, but here's the other cherry on top of this sundae. So when I was getting ready to move to California, I figured California ain't going to, be quite as nice as, Mikey over here is. So I best get this, check engine light turned off before I bring it into California and get it registered over there. So, I called up Mike. I said, I need to deal with this check engine light issue, and I'm getting ready to drive across the country. So, kind of make sure everything's in good order. And he goes, yeah, okay, yeah, bring it on in. Well, and so I dropped it off, and he said, well, before we change the sensor in the gas tank, I did some research on it. There's another sensor they want me to change first that's a lot cheaper. So we're going to... He changed the cheap, easy sensor. I mean, it was something like, under $100. Fixed it right up. So I drove around with no gas gauge for 2 or 3 years. And it was like a $30 fix.
Had to put the fuse in.
It's like,
that's great.
Yeah. So that's it's funny people's perceptions of things that they live with as normal, and that's not necessarily normal because I grew up in Jersey, so inspection meant that something was put on your tailpipe, and they checked your emissions, and that if your car wasn't kept in good order, you're going to fail. And there were stories about cars that kept failing, like older cars would have trouble getting past inspection. I never had a problem. But
well, I had this truck. Every time you brought it in to check the smog, it would fail, and the rule says there's a cap that you have to spend. You'd have to spend up to $500, and then they would just pass you anyway, right? The trouble is, every time I went, it was another $500, and never actually fixed anything.
Oh no, what state is that?
That was California.
I never ran into anything like that.
Yeah, I think they changed that.
God,
what
are these Nazi states that you live in?
Well, that's why
Jesus Christ.
That's why most places.
I live in Ohio. We don't have any inspections at all. We just drive cars
until they won't run anymore.
Well, this is why
we just live life.
I think that's why now in California,
George is the same way.
I think this is why most places now in California are test-only stations. No conflict of interest.
Right. That's right.
I think
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You think you had a thing with inspection? Oh boy, I got one for
Well,
you.
well, let me finish the story I was setting up. So that was
Okay.
Jersey. Jersey, you hear stories about difficulty with emissions, and I moved up to Maine. I had no idea how difficult Maine was or wasn't with inspection. So I started asking some of the locals, like, how's inspection here in the state? Oh, awful, absolutely. It's one of the toughest states to pass car inspection in the nation. And I'm like getting worried, like, oh my God, really? Do they have tough emission standards? And it's like, oh, they tried to do some emissions a few years ago, but everyone kept failing, so they had to do away with that. That was a disaster. I'm like, wait, they don't test emissions? No, not anymore. No, but it's the toughest. I'm like, what kind of things to fail for? Well, if you have like big rust holes through the metal there, they'll fail you for that. I'm like,
Huh? What?
I think that's one of the biggest. Well, keep in mind, Maine has a lot of snow, a lot of
yeah.
salt on the roads, so there's a lot of rust buckets. And
Got that here in Ohio too.
And if it rusts through, and you got a bunch of speed holes, to quote The Simpsons, on your car, they will fail you for that. So as long as
but is that rust where it affects something mechanical? For example, I had a Chevy Vega. I brought it to Colorado, and the rust was so bad, one of the shock absorber was not attached anymore.
Oh,
and the guy says that's got to be in there. So he says, but I got a simple fix. He just wired the sucker in there, and then he passed me.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is at Maine, but I know that if you have really bad rust, that's like rusting through the body, and like things are, that is a failable offense. I don't know the details of that because I never had a car that rusted a hole all the way through something.
Yeah,
I've had to go through.
Generally, rust doesn't affect the chassis, like the core.
Yeah, I don't know, but that was the big complaint.
We had to throw rubber.
Well, if it interferes with the suspension, I think that's a bad thing.
Well, yeah.
But rust generally just affects the appearance.
Yeah.
The outer shell.
I think that was the majority of the complaints is why you failing me for this. It just looks bad. It's not a real problem. But then again, if someone's going to leave a bumper behind in the middle of the road.
Well, of course, there's a simpler way to handle all this. In Singapore, when your car hits 10 years old, it's off the road, period.
Really?
They don't even test it. They just go by the age of the car.
And if you try to
and
if you keep driving it past 10 years, they hit you with a stick.
That's right. That's right.
Brings whole new definitions.
So you sell it to somebody in Malaysia.
There you go.
Yeah, like I said, what about you take a corner and your fender comes off?
Yeah, that's generally not recommended.
And I left it there. And nobody moved it. Everybody just kept running over it, and it got deeper and deeper embedded in the road.
Well, that reminds me of my friend Doogie, who I haven't spoken to in many years. He was driving around a car for a period of time that had one of those like fake canvas roofs that's like glued on to the to the car, and we know it's glued on. Because of the big glue spot that was left after it flew off.
Oh, burn.
And I wasn't with him the night that happened, but he told me about it. He's driving down the road middle of the night. All of a sudden, it was like this, whoop, and he looks in the rearview mirror, sees this roof just kind of floating back there. He's,
wow.
Fuck!
Jeez.
He had to pull over, back up, and go get his roof.
Still, nothing will beat this most embarrassing inspection moment.
All right.
You go to the inspection station, everything in the car is working, except you've got a piece of wood holding up one corner of the front seat.
Yeah.
Because the metal broke. So you got a piece of wood sitting up there, and you drive through the inspection station. The guy gets in. He made a horrible mistake. He moved the seat forward.
Oh.
The wood fell down, and he went to sit back. He just went, whoa! and fell almost in the back seat.
Oh, no.
Fail.
Yeah, that was a fail.
God.
Went up to the junkyard. Got
Epic
another.
failure.
Jeez.
All right. Well, I got two failed inspection stories. One is the most recent one. Just a week ago, I took the old white car in for inspection, and it came back failed for 4 things. One,
The white car?
yeah, the white
Is it
car.
a Maserati?
No, it's
Yeah, that's
a,
the one.
yeah, the Maserati.
The
Took
Maserati station wagon.
Yeah. I brought the Maserati station wagon in, give it a look over for the inspection, and they came back and they said, "Well, you got some problems here. Your windshield washer isn't working," which I knew that wasn't working because there's a hose that comes up and there's a hose that comes in from the hood, and there's a piece of plastic that joins them together, and the hose got a little split in it. So I cut out the spot with the split and put the connector in there, and then the hose got another split in it. So I cut that part off and I put it in. The hose got another split in it, so I cut that
Why don't
off.
you just replace the hose?
I cut that off. I lowered the hood a little bit, and connected them in, closed the hood, and just remember to do that every time I open up the hood. Well, that last little bit of hose split. So yeah, I needed a new hose, but I wasn't sure if Massachusetts tested windshield washer or not, because you could drive without a windshield washer.
That's right.
But they consider that a safety. I guess if someone splashes up a bunch of mud on your windshield and you can't see, and you can't get some cleaner onto that right away, that could
And
be a
there are
safety.
a bunch of communists there anyway.
Yeah. So they failed for that. The wiper blades were worn out, which, okay, my bad. I didn't check that before bringing it in. And it hadn't been raining or snowing recently, and they really took a beating over the winter, so I didn't realize how bad they were. That was on me. I did check all the lights. Then the third thing it failed for was there was some moisture in one of the tail light fixtures. So, you can't have any moisture in there because that means it's not completely sealed. Which that was like, well, that's just a part, and 10 minutes to swap it out. So
Drill a drain hole in the bottom.
there you go. Yeah, no,
That's nitpicky.
no, and then the fourth thing they said, you're leaking coolant. It is
And
puddling.
they found 30 pounds of heroin in your trunk?
No, they didn't find that.
They didn't find that?
Ixnay on the heroin, hey. Anyways,
Hey.
Okay.
I'm trying to find another way to make money. Anyways, so moving right along, I got to pay for all these
See,
repairs.
in California, they didn't even look at any of that stuff. They only
No.
They only plug you in to see if the engine is
Yeah.
belching smoke.
Yeah. So now here's the thing. The guy's like, you are leaking coolant. It left a puddle of coolant. You're gonna smell it when you get out there. I'm like, well, I didn't have a puddle in my driveway. Did this just start? Or, I mean, if it's leaking at the rate you're saying, wouldn't it be empty soon? And he's like, well, yeah, you're gonna want to make sure you top that off with water before you bring it back in. Be careful. You could get it home. But so I'm like, oh my God, what am I? And of course, it's one of those things that it's like, how much it's going to cost depending where it's leaking from. I'm like, all right, well, schedule me for a diagnostic to find the leak. All right,
Yeah,
great.
you could be replacing a head gasket.
So they put in for Monday. So Monday, drop the car off. They call me back. They say, yeah, you're not leaking coolant. You're leaking washer fluid because the hose is broken into the windshield washer.
You mean this tester guy couldn't tell the difference between washer fluid and
That's
and
what I
antifreeze?
said.
Oh, that's
Well,
lovely.
it could be worse. My brother, who's a mechanical engineer, he took his car out and looked at it. Says, "Oh, I need more brake fluid." Well, and I don't have any, so he put transmission fluid in the brake cylinder.
Well, it's all liquid, right?
That's right. That's right. It's all related to hydraulic stuff, right?
Yeah, it's hydraulic. That's the same difference, right?
Of course, that will cause you to go and replace all of the wheel cylinders and the master cylinders because the seals are now rotted. Yeah.
So, anyways, that was they replaced the hose and the washer, put a new tail light fixture in, and I'm past inspection again. So, but I was like, really? Now I know what happened. He went to test the windshield washer. Nothing happened. and then he had a puddle on the floor because I have windshield washer fluid in the car, and there is a hose there not connected to anything, so no wonder he had a puddle of fluid. But why he thought it was coolant, I didn't he notice?
You use antifreeze in your window washer. That's what it is.
I had blue stuff in there.
That's
You
right.
know, well, maybe
and maybe the guy's colorblind.
Guy could be colorblind. I mean, it obviously wasn't oil. It may have had a
last week.
but he didn't put it together that the puddle happened after testing the windshield washer.
Right.
But yeah,
That's
so that,
why he's just an inspector, not a genius.
now here's my New Jersey story.
New Jersey.
Yeah,
Pizza.
I brought my car in for inspection in Jersey, and this car was in an accident with a row of deers that decided to block the road on a foggy night, and I think the deer pretty much
One foggy night.
One foggy night. There's a
saw
row of
deer
deers
on the road. A
And
row of deers.
I hit the brakes and impacted the deer, and the deer flew up into the air over the car and probably landed somewhere back there on 206. But it busted up the headlights pretty darn bad. So they basically they got a new part off of another car. So I had to replace the whole headlight fixture and the bracket that holds the headlight in place. And that part was not in the greatest of shape from the car that it came off of. It was missing some clips. And so the headlight fixtures had a little bit of wiggle to them. But they lit up the road, so I had no problem with this. Well, the inspector, they had a problem with this.
Kind of terrain following, right?
It was just a little vibration or whatever. So, now mind you, it was one of them that we really had to replace. So the one had your average wiggle, but the other one was really loose. So they're like, see this is how this wiggles. This wiggles too much. You can't have that. We need to fix that. So go back home to Dad. Like, hey Dad, I don't know. What do we do? He's like, bring in my guy. We'll take a look. So I drive into the shop there. He takes a look at it. He grabs a tube of epoxy and some cardboard, mixes up the epoxy, dips cardboard in it, start kind of shoving it into places back there, and then firms it up. So yeah, he just stuffed epoxy-coated cardboard into the headlight fixture to keep it from wiggling, and said, "There you go. That'll be $20." I handed him a 20 and went on my way. Brought it in for inspection, and it failed again. And I said, "What's the problem? This isn't moving anymore." So it's, "Yeah, no, it's still wiggling." I'm like, "No, that's not the one that was wiggling. This is the one that's wiggling." "Yeah, but this one stays absolutely still. This one wiggles a little bit. You failed because it was wiggling." So he fixed it too good.
Yeah, she made it like the other one.
So I had to drive it back in. I said, "I need more cardboard epoxy." He's like, "Seriously?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know." So more epoxy, more cardboard, stuffed it in there, and that'll be another $20.
Did you watch how he did that?
No, I should have.
Did
because
you see how he did it?
I don't know. I don't know where. No, that car's long gone.
Well,
because
I'm just saying. I mean, there's no way you could have taken some cardboard with epoxy glue and put it in yourself.
I probably could have and saved me $20, but I didn't. What I'm
I've done that with my cars. Made sure everything was firmed up. Even worked on the car, engine wise, and all like that. I mean, and you spent all that money. Oh well,
$20.
So my Chevy Vega, of course, was a 4-cylinder engine with an aluminum block, and by the time I got rid of it, it had turned itself into a 3-cylinder car.
Oh, so you lost a cylinder.
There was no compression in it at all. I think the piston would still go up and down, but that didn't matter.
That's what pistons do. They go up and down, right? So
right.
You blew a seal.
Probably.
We didn't come here to talk about your personal life.
I was wondering that.
Yeah, how does that happen?
There's probably lots of alcohol involved. Okay, so that's a loud synthesizer.
So who synthesized that?
Oh shit. That loud?
You didn't realize that was coming through?
It was a little, but I mean it's okay. It was kind of cool. I liked
it was cool. And then they got a little overpowering, but it was still kind of cool.
Yeah, we because we're here to do our own content, not just do what everybody else does.
Yeah. We want some background music is good every now and then.
Unless of course it came out of K-Tel.
Hey, we like K-Tel.
I didn't even realize it was that long.
But
is it that loud? I don't even hear it that loud.
But then, of course, my favorite car story is the idiots down the road from Tharco. Oh God, these guys, they piss me the fuck off. I stopped taking my car there. It was convenient.
You mean that mechanic there?
Yeah, they fucked up my car every time I took it there.
See, you're the only guy that had bad luck there, I think, because I think everybody went there.
I had multiple bad luck problems there, and when I went to the place that was a little further, never a problem.
You mean the middle school?
No, not the middle school. There was a place that we went to that was a little further out, and then I found another place right in my town, right in Hayward, that was really good. But that guy always messed up, and multiple times I had problems with them. They were bad at scheduling, and then. I mean, one time he's giving me the runaround, like, well, you got the oil leak there, and we have to deal with that, and well, we have to clean it up before we can see the oil leak, and we gotta, and then we got other cars there, and I understand you got work, but it's like, I had already brought it in a few times, and he's giving me the runaround, and then I call up this other guy that's down the road, and he goes, yeah, bring it in, we'll fix it all up for you tomorrow. I brought it in, he fixed it all up for me that day, leak solved. Other problem I went to, well, he fixed up the problem that they caused, which I could never prove they caused it. But this was around the time where I had a problem with the car not wanting to start, and it was running lean, and that was what the code said. It was running lean. It didn't want to start, and so they wanted to change some sensors, and so I brought it in. And at some point during this process, and it might have been with another car, all I know is one time I go there to pick up the car, and I shifted in the drive, and I immediately knew something was wrong. It did not feel right. It was running a bit rough. I'm like, well, they're not going to do anything now. And as I start to pull out, the check engine light starts blinking. And that's bad when it blinks. Solid check engine light, keep driving it. Blinking check engine light, stop driving it. So I brought it in, and I said, the check engine light is blinking now. And they go, what? And they're like, oh, try resetting it, or try stopping it, and try turning it off and back on, or and they're acting along, right, and so they're like, bring it in tomorrow, we'll look at it tomorrow. And I'm like, I can't drive it like this. It's blinking. Oh man, that car over there is worse than this. They drove it in from like 3 towns over. Oh, you'll be fine driving that car. And I was fine, but I Googled it, and it's a bad idea. You could probably do more damage driving a car with a blinking check engine light. So I didn't even bring it back. I was so pissed at them at this point because well,
it's like the inspector in New Jersey caused the antifreeze leak.
This was here. That wasn't Jersey.
I'm saying it's just like.
Okay. So
same, only different, right?
Different states. This car was never in Jersey.
Oh, I thought it was the white car that you came out from Jersey.
No, that white car. I had a different white car in Jersey.
This one had never been to Jersey?
Well, technically, I lived in Maine when I bought that car.
Oh, but it never been to Jersey.
Well, I bought it from a place in Jersey.
So it came from Jersey.
Right, but the car that was inspected in Jersey was a completely different car.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Cars. Right.
Thank you. Now we figured out that Gators is on car number 3. All right. So these assholes changed sensors to fix a problem and charged me like $200 for this. And they're like, "Oh, by the way."
So, what color is this car?
Purple with yellow polka dots.
With a big old purple rain on it.
Purple rain. Yeah. So, after they charged me all this money to change out these sensors I didn't need changed, they're like, "Oh,
Was this in Hayward?
By the way, we noticed that this hose it has a leak in it. But we couldn't find a replacement, so we put a piece of tape on it." And I'm like, "Well, what would that cause?" It's like, "Oh, it might make the car run lean or have trouble starting up." Oh, you mean the exact things that I've been telling you for 2 weeks that the car has been doing. So why did we change these sensors? But I still gave them another chance. And then when I brought it in for the oil leak, I go to pick it up. They didn't find the oil leak, and the car's running rough, and that check engine light's blinking. And that's when I'm like, okay, fuck you. You're not getting my car again. And I brought it to another place, and they found that there was like a bad coil, and they replaced that. They found the oil leak. They fixed that all in the same day, whereas they were like, we still got to find the leak.
And they replaced that hose?
Well, if that's where the oil leak was from. No, this was before that hose started leaking.
Right.
The point is that every time I brought the car to them, it came out of their worse. And then I had to bring it.
We're getting that. Hey, Lulu, is that what you're getting out of this? He didn't like that guy, so he went someplace else.
Yeah. And the someplace
yeah,
else.
we get it.
My
we
car.
get it.
Yeah.
Venison, are you still asleep, or did that make you fall asleep?
I would have got.
There we go.
I got my fish sticks.
I had half of my pizza.
So we still got another half hour to fill with this.
Would you like to continue stating that you were displeased with this one person, and so you went to another person, went back to this person, and then finally stopped going to this person and went to another person?
With the purple car.
With the purple car. With yellow polka dots.
And it was marked Purple Rain.
Yes. How displeased were you?
Hey, I'm Hank.
Hello, Hank.
I can't do a good Jim Carrey impersonation, so we'll just leave that alone. No, we're gonna stop talking about.
You could be a different Hank.
I could be a different Hank. Yeah. I tell you what.
You know what I did in 2015?
What?
Did I tell you guys? Did I tell you what happened in 2015? Were we still talking?
How long ago? You know what? That's a good question. But even if you were around 2015, you weren't even all that around the last few years that you were around. So
let's go with 2015.
Okay, so I fell asleep behind the wheel, and I ended up crashing the van into a telephone pole. It flipped over, and I broke the telephone pole in 2 places.
Oh,
wow!
What? Damn.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
And I walked away with a slight back injury and a scuffed up knee. That's all.
That's if you can walk away, you're doing pretty good there.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
You fought the telephone pole and you won.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I took out someone's mailbox.
Oh, that was like a bonus.
Well, that mailbox had it coming, you know.
I saw him jump in front of your car.
That reminds me of the time a friend of mine named Josh got into a fight with a stop sign and lost. Damn stops. He ended up in the hospital with a broken hand.
Oh.
Because he was.
Was he high-fiving it?
No, we were all hanging out at Pete's house doing some drinking. The type of drinking that, like, we went through about 3 or 4 30 packs of Bud and then start doing shots of stuff. And at some point, he got angry drunk. And he picked up Pete off the ground into, like, a big bear hug type of thing, like he wanted to attack him or something, and put him down. And as he said, he's like, I saw red and I knew I just had to get out of there. And I still don't know what provoked this. I don't think he knew what provoked this. But alcohol provoked it. So he runs out of the house and runs down the street screaming into the middle of the night. Mind you, it's like probably 1 a.m. at this point. So I'm sure the neighbors were quite impressed with us. And but it's okay, I didn't live there.
Good.
And so I'm like, what in the hell? And Pete runs out, and he's screaming down. So I hear him screaming in the distance. Pete's screaming at him. At some point, Pete's wife's like, "Come on inside. Come on, let's bring it inside." But we still hear him screaming into the night from down the other road. I'm like, what the heck is up with him? What the hell happened? And no one could say. No one knew. Like, it came out of nowhere. And next thing we know, Josh's wife gives us a call. And it's like, what the hell happened to Josh? And we're like, we don't know. He got angry, ran down the street, and he just broke his hand punching a stop sign.
Oh, so he did this without a car.
Yeah. He was on foot, and he got into a fight with the stop sign and punched until he broke his hand, and his wife had to take him to the hospital.
You know why? The sign was telling him stop. And he
didn't. He wouldn't stop. The sign tried to warn him.
That's right.
But no one's going to tell him to stop.
No, don't stop.
But
it just said stop, but it wouldn't let him go.
I think there were drugs involved. Too, because he there was one time we were hanging out in Pete's house, and he's hanging out with us. He's sitting in the kitchen, and all of a sudden his face turned white. And I mean, like, not white like Caucasian. I mean white like in, if you hold up a paper plate, that's how white his face turned. And all of a sudden, bam! Falls forward, head hits the table, passes out, falls onto the floor. And it was a call 911 moment, which and he came to. And I think they still carried him out on a stretcher, but he came to. And of course, everyone was asking the questions, is he on any medication? Did he take anything? And we all didn't know. And Pete was pissed about this. Pete was pissed because, anything that results in police officers being in his house is a bad thing. Yeah, not that he's got anything against the police, but I just don't want them in my house, So he was mad at Josh after that, like, dude, you bring your drugs in my house, pass out, and then you got police in my house. I'm not, no more of this. So he was a bit, he was taking stuff. We don't know what, but he was doing things that would result in him passing out spontaneously, we think. Allegedly. Could be a medical condition he had, but I think he was popping some pills or something. But one of our guys on Skype is calling in from a windstorm, so if you could. Never mind. Actually, it's the Hangout's got the windstorm. I'm just.
Oh, all right.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I can put a gate on that. No, it's cool. It's cool. I'll put a gate on that for next week.
There. I was too far away, so it was pulling and it was up to my face.
Ah, I see.
I didn't know that.
The auto level adjustment that was bringing in more room sound. That's why I was like, wow, that came in. I was like, and usually Skype is, but we're going to start painting in a few weeks. We got 4 weeks ago before we start this, and we're going to start with the first episode. Now, I think the Bob Ross Company has been pretty lenient with copyright stuff. I've been reading about it because they're streaming on Twitch, and I think they allow people to also stream painting along with it on Twitch. So I don't think we have to go all incognito or secret about it, but I also don't think we need I don't think we need to show Bob's video on the screen because that's just going to get too busy and too confusing.
Or are we just going to wing it on our own?
Yeah. Well, Lulu and I are going to watch the episodes and paint along with it. But we're probably going to have to keep our own paces because, I know what I did in the past. I did a lot of pausing and a lot of backtracking because I can't keep up with it.
Right.
But you can remember, he was so plastered.
Yeah. And this time around, I found a great thing that's going to help. Disposable pallets.
Cool.
Disposable pallets.
Yeah, well, the cleanup was always... The reason why I didn't paint more often, the reason why I restricted it to once a year was because it was a nightmare to clean up. You had to clean up all the brushes, and then you had to scrape all the paint off the palette. You had to clean that off. And so now you buy disposable pallets. They make like kind of like a paper that's meant to be used as a pallet, and then when you're done, you just wrap it up, throw it away. I'm like, oh, there we go. That's going to cut out so much of the cleanup time.
And you could use really cheap brushes that you just throw away.
Well, I'm not. No, I still got to clean the brushes, but I do have plenty of Bob Ross odorless paint thinner. So
And
we just got to beat the devil out of it.
Beat the devil out of it.
And Bob Ross on acid.
Oh, that clip is so weird. It's like there's faces of creatures in his hands and on the canvas. Like what?
He's holding a creature that keeps changing shapes.
Yeah, how did they make that? That's why I was like staring at it like how do you make something that I understand how someone could see something like that if they're on stuff, but I don't know how you actually make a video manifestation of an acid trip so literal like that.
Well,
That's right.
Well, that's what we're out to explore, right?
hey,
They have their ways.
You make the video while on acid. Now you know what needs to be done.
Yeah, if you make a video while on acid, it just comes out as a test pattern, I think.
Test pattern.
But there are multiple Bob Ross drug trip type videos out there. We just need to review this again. So this is the one that he linked to us, which
Yeah.
Oh no.
all right, so that's the theme played backwards. All right, we're just gonna skip ahead here. But there's like all these like patterns that move around with faces in them, and I don't know how they made that.
I don't like that, man.
No, I don't like it. It's this is a bad trip. This is a bad trip.
No.
Good trip.
Whoa! The animals are changing on the canvas.
This is not pleasant.
Okay, yeah, that's a bad trip.
You have to be on the same drug as he's on.
We're not on the right drug. We're not on the right drug for this.
Yeah, I'm sitting here waiting for the delay to kick in.
This looks like a less annoying trip.
And very gently, I'm just going to blend all of this in. I want it to be very soft and very far away.
All right, so now we got a screen that moves around.
Very gently, just still making a little.
Ew.
With background music.
Just begin blending
No.
all of it.
And reverb.
See, of course, and we got our own background music with our synthesizer.
There.
This is kind of boring so far. Let's see if this gets any better.
Okay. Start playing a little bit.
All right, this is just someone playing with every effect that they can find on their kitty software. That's enough of that. But we got a message coming in. Let's see. No, that's an old message. It's a deep learning experiment. An AI did it. Interesting. But even for an AI to do that, it had to be programmed to be able to do that.
Yeah, what's happening is it's like a deep recursion thing that's I don't exactly understand what's happening, but it's like what happens. It's like it's an AI program that tries to discover animal pictures within the image, and it keeps reprocessing the image to discover animal pictures within the image, within the video. And
how about you tell us when the Earth becomes flat?
There we go. A recursion is recursion always reminds me. You use the word recursion, and that always reminds me of in computer programming. There's usually a basic exercise that explains recursion, and recursion is basically a program that a subroutine that calls itself.
Yeah.
And it keeps calling itself until it gets the answer. I can't really explain it, but basically you have...
No, you basically did.
Factorial. Unsigned int factorial, unsigned int n. And so that basically you have a statement, if n is equal to 0, return a 1, else return n times factorial n minus 1. Which means that you're so it's calling the subroutine factorial within the subroutine factorial, and eventually factorial will return a 1. If it doesn't, if it's not equal to 0 and doesn't return a 1, it keeps on doing the multiply factorial of n minus 1 until it eventually returns an answer
because it filled up the stack.
Right. So it's...
Or what you do is you have self-protection, and when you hit a certain level, you say, okay, let's go the other direction.
So to me, that's
always fun.
See, to me, it's kind of trippy that the program calls itself within the program. It's like it's unfinished and it's using itself to finish it. It kind of is like, whoa, man. And at first you're like, how could a subroutine be calling itself? It is the subroutine. And then it's like, oh,
no,
but
that's easy.
But you have to look at it, and then it's like, okay, it makes sense. Well, it's easy for you. You're a programmer. You eat this stuff for breakfast.
Right.
You eat n's equaling 1 for breakfast.
Or whatever the routine is.
It searches the video for animal faces. It tries to search the image in the video for animal faces.
It's got a bunch of animal faces, and it matches up what it can frame by frame.
It tries to find pictures in the... It tries to find animal faces in the video, and it adds animal faces to the video
to enhance the ones that are there.
And then it re-searches. It like, I don't know.
It does probably a lot of it frame by frame, trying to find things that are like pictures and then replace. And it
keeps like it reprocesses the video over and over.
This is how we take stoner material and turn it into the most boring thing ever.
What are you talking about?
Talking about how to run factorial subroutines in C. It's kind of like that, but different.
It tries to find animal faces, and it places animal faces in the video, and then after it places animal faces in the video,
Want a kiss?
it tries to find
Hello,
more animal faces
baby.
in the video.
Want a kiss?
I think we need to go back
And
to
then
Medicine's
Hello,
radio
baby.
programming.
Faces
Want a
in the video.
kiss?
It finds more animal
Hello,
faces. in the video.
baby. Want a
That's
kiss?
what reinforces itself.
Hello, baby. Want a kiss?
What the hell is this?
After
What
your
is it?
parents-
That was what Medicine likes to listen to on the radio while getting drunk.
That's what
Or
it
driving
came
down the
on,
highway at
but
high
we didn't
speed.
change it. We waited to see for it to do something else,
Yeah, and it never did.
and it never did. 3 hours later, it was still doing it.
I wonder if the record just got stuck on a groove that just kept going. Want a kiss? Want a kiss? Want a kiss? Want a kiss?
You know,
Eh.
like I said, they changed the.
I think that's how it works. It's like it searches the video for animal faces.
Oh my god!
We got the animal
Uh-huh.
faces. So let's talk about not animal
recursively,
faces.
of course.
Not recursively. What's the opposite of animal faces? Animal butts. No, wait. Let's not talk about animal butts.
Let's make that program.
Think of that
Let's
stupid
not bring
toy.
things back around to fisting. We already covered that topic. We're done.
Oh, God.
We moved past it.
Oh, that reminds me. Yeah,
No.
I was listening to a certain podcast that you gators.
That I what?
Yes.
I recommend a lot of podcasts.
A certain Johnny Gators did a certain one-off broadcast with a notorious broadcaster called Addy.
Oh wow, that was that's the time that Addie found that picture of three girls reenacting someone wearing a pair of mittens, and yeah,
Fisting with Addy and Gators.
if it no,
2012, January.
oh my god, I'm gonna have to see if I have that show.
Fisting with Addy and Gators.
Is that what we called it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
I
if
think that's what Addy called it.
I,
At least.
well, I remember what he was most amused by was that he brings up he gives you the link to the picture.
He and your wife were amused by the photos.
Right. Well, it was a funny picture because like the women had some.
I didn't see it, but it sounded amusing.
Yeah. Well, there was some weird expressions on the women's faces that were getting fisted, as you would expect. You know, and
I think I may have seen those pictures before.
Yeah.
So we came back around to fisting. That's actually kind of interesting when you said that you weren't going to be going around to fisting again.
Well, I let it happen. Apparently, I'm sorry, but no, that was a funny show because Addie sends me a link. I click on the picture. Oh my god, it's a fisting picture, and the next thing Addie hears coming through my mic is furious laughter from my wife. And, and this was amusing. So, is that your wife laugh? I'm like, yeah, she sees the fisting picture. You just sent me the link of.
My wife is amused by certain types of pornography.
Yeah, that sounds like how I would have explained it.
Yeah.
She does find porn to be amusing.
Ever seen clown porn?
No, but we saw clips. Clown.
And then there was
that's Sir Mars' favorite.
Yes, Sir Mars was on the.
Sir
line.
Mars loves the clowns, but no,
and there was a certain woman on top of a table, I believe.
Oh yeah, because Mars really liked the table. That was a very nice table that he commented on.
Yes, there was a nice table.
Yes,
a wonderful table.
Everyone agreed it was a very nice table in the frame there. That the woman was straddling with the, I believe she was shaved, if I recall correctly, which went nicely with the table because it was a nice smooth table service.
Oh,
and a nice
what the
smooth.
fuck?
Okay, we'll bring things to more Neo's speed. There's a movie called Teeth. I think that's Neo's favorite pornography.
What?
Yes, teeth.
Teeth.
Vagina dentata.
Vagina Dentata.
Oh, no.
I did
Oh,
not
God.
remember that title. I just remember it was called Teeth.
I've seen that movie.
No, it's mentioned in the movie Vagina Dentata when the OBGYN, the doctor tells her to spread her legs. He ends up like fondling with her twat,
and he loses a finger or two.
And he loses part of his fingers, and he like pulls it out, and he's like missing fingers, and he goes, Vagina Dentata! Vagina Dentata!
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think I've seen the still of that.
That reminds me of like this like monster movie that the monster is a condom that like it'll appear on a bed in a hotel as a standard condom, but when actions get ready to happen, it grows teeth. And
what?
It was something that Gothard found through Netflix when they were mailing DVDs out still, and I think it was a double feature. I think that DVD had a second movie on it, but it wasn't as good as the. Oh my! What the heck was that? What the heck was that?
What's the other one? Attack for the Giant Boobs. Where it has giant boobs that will attack you, like the.
That sounds like a good way to go. You know.
Yeah, I forget. I don't know if it was a porno or like a part of a porno or.
Boobies!
Oh.
Boobies!
Boobies.
How are you finding these strange movies that I haven't even found yet?
God, it was made in the 70s, damn it! It had, they were big inflatable tits, and they were bouncing around on a hillside and in a valley, and they were attacking people. They were trying to eat them.
Oh, here we go. I found the Wikipedia article. Killer Condom, originally titled Condom des Grauens, English, Condom of Horror, is a 1996 German horror comedy directed by Martin Walls. It is based on the comic books Condom des Grauens and Bis auf die Knochen, Down to the Bones, by Ralph Koenig. Let's see. Okay. Set in the seedy parts of New York City, Killer Condom follows gay detective Luigi Macaroni, who has been hired to investigate a series of bizarre attacks at the Hotel Quickie, in which male guests have all had their penises mysteriously bitten off. While at the crime scene, he enlists the services of a gigolo named Billy and invites him up to the crime room. Before the two men engage in sex, a carnivorous living condom interrupts them and bites off Macaroni's right testicle. Now, on a personal vendetta, Macaroni begins his lone quest to not only bring a stop to the rash of condom attacks, but also face his true feelings towards Billy the Gigolo. So it's a love story.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Brian, have you seen this movie?
No.
Wow.
No, not that one.
Why would anybody have seen it?
Brian, if we make a DVD of this appear, could you pop up some popcorn, throw this in a DVD player, and make it a nice evening with the missus?
Popcorn or
Gators.
Whichever.
Gators.
Yes, Lulu?
Look for, I think it's Alfred Hitchcock. Or maybe, who is that really perverted producer of movies from the late 70s?
That could be
Corbin?
anyone.
Huh?
Corbin?
No, not Corbin. He's the one that did a lot of the really weird movies.
Wow.
I don't know.
Spielberg?
Type in bouncing monster movies.
Okay.
I think it's Alfred Hitchcock, but I don't know.
Bouncing My Monster Boobs, free YouTube porn FC hamster. Big Bouncing Tits Video, xvideos.com. Giant boobs bouncing porn video. You know, Google search for bouncing monster boobies turns up a lot of results.
Monster boobies in movie, in old, in 70s movie.
Okay. 70s movie bouncing boobies. That also has a lot of hits. Woody Allen's giant boob scene.
Yes, it's Woody Allen, that one.
Oh, that one? I was thinking that too. Everything you always wanted to know about sex.
Okay. What the heck is that? What the heck? Oh my God, that is
for a large female breast.
It's about a 4,000 with an X cup.
About a 4,000 with an X cup. Let's go.
Everybody needs milk. That's great. All right, I don't know if we could get away with much more of that, so we're gonna stop sharing that now. What the? Oh, that's from Everything You Always Want to Know About Sex But Afraid to Ask. No, I just remember the. What was it? That was a funny movie. I've seen.
There was a lot of messed up scenes in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the bouncy boobies in the field, and they tried to attack you.
Of course they would. They've been squeezed too much. They got to get their revenge. So there you go, Brian. We got some great movie night ideas for you. Cheetos might be a quicker option to the popcorn, but there's nothing like home popcorn with your own melted butter put on it. So
this is very true.
And you're gonna have that whole damn bowl to yourself because
all greasy.
I think the missus is gonna leave the room pretty early into the movie. So you're not gonna do this, are you? He's just shaking his head no.
You can always go for a softer one and do Porky's.
Porky's, there you go. No Porky's.
No.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, we have reached the 10 o'clock hour yet again, which means it is that time again. Time to put another fun-filled edition of
on the shelf.
On the shelf. And it's time to put another episode of
Insert title here
to bed. But we do have lots of entertainment options for you here on the No Holds Barred Radio Network all week long, because tomorrow Video Vamp goes on and does his show, ADHD Radio. It's kind of like listening to a radio show that has ADHD, except not as entertaining. And then I think Derailment Radio is back. I think Warhawk has been doing some Derailment Radio.
Is this NHB?
This is NHB.
Holy shit. NHB still exists?
Yeah, we still have a YouTube page, and there's still streams you can click on and listen to. So yeah,
oh my God.
I'm on YouTube, but I'm also on NHB.
I thought NHB was dead.
No, NHB continues to live on, mostly for spite.
Can we say nigger?
No! No, you cannot.
You might not too.
No.
Can't say nigger. Can't say the nigger word.
So
can we play that one Michael Richards clip?
No. In fact, I'm trying to look at how I could get you off the call without hanging up on Venison. So there we go.
Yeah, prevent him from getting shot.
Ohio, he said that was. So Venison, you getting the exploding watermelons prepared to ship off? I think that guy knows Addy.
He was kind of special. Yeah.
On that note, it's
kind of special.
So be sure to check out all those other great NHB shows, and heck, this Saturday night Dune will be doing a 5-hit. I'll be doing another marriage counseling episode. And this time, Kristen picks the game. And she is very excited to get me playing something called Bayonetta, I think. So I'm going to find out what that's all about. And then Sunday, Dune and Bob show.
Her aggression by stabbing you repeatedly.
Maybe. I don't know. And we will be back next week. And Brian, you're here next week?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. And I'll be here. And Venison and Neil,
Yeah,
you're all
I'll be
invited
here.
to. Oh, all right. We'll be here.
As far as I know, I'll be here.
Yes. Excellent. And I'll remember to send the link next week.
Yeah, please do. I tried calling, and I got no answer.
Yeah, I remembered 50 minutes before the show. So at least usually I do an hour before. Like I said, I was sitting here like, wow, what a wonderful Tuesday this is. That's how long this day felt.
Oh my God.
then Brian started tweeting. But anyways, we do try to be educational here. So let's go around the room here. And Lulu, what have you learned this week?
I learned that the computer tries to make animal shapes and throws it back at you, and the computer tries to make animal shapes and then throws it back at you, and the computer tries to make animal shapes and then throws it back at you, and repeat.
I think everyone was going for a recursive explanation of recursion. It's just that we couldn't find the Control C. What is it? Control break. Yeah. Brian, what have you learned?
I'm still trying to figure out what the title of this episode is going to be.
I couldn't think of anything, so I just labeled it title.
Title.
Recursion.
Insert title here, and you did.
Yeah. Pretty sure I just called it title.
You meant recursion.
No, actually, I'm sorry. I labeled it show.
Show.
All right.
Generic.
Yeah. I could not come up with a good title. I had like nothing for this week, which is why we spent like an hour and a half talking about cars.
And fisting.
People thought this was a car show.
Okay, it's a fisting show now. But no, it's mostly about, this show's mostly about titty fucking, which this week we literally went there. So I guess that's what you learned, Brian. You learned about
fisting cars and titty fucking.
Fisting car and titty fucking.
Pretty much.
One of those topics you know something about. It's up to us to figure out which one.
And we know the difference between antifreeze and windshield washer fluid.
Yes, we do.
And transmission fluid and brake fluid.
Right. Now, Venison, what have you learned this week?
Well, I've learned not to do 8 hits before the show. And
lightweight.
I thought it was 7.
Gators can't fix a car for shit.
Yeah, I fixed a windshield washer about 3 or 4 times before I ran out of hose. And
okay.
And I've learned. What have I learned?
Nothing.
I learned about recursion, which is...
Yeah, but you explained it, so you already knew it.
Yeah, but recursion is where you have recursion equals recursion, which equals recursion, which equals recursion, which... I'm sorry, that didn't work, did it? No. Okay. No, but...
No.
Recursion equals infinity recursion.
Yes.
Until it crashes.
But I did learn there are different types of weed users. You got your Lulus that will tell you about their different strains, and they prefer... What is it you prefer?
I prefer indica.
You prefer indigo. I was going to say you prefer violet, but that didn't seem right. I was
indica!
Like, no, indica! Indica! Oh, I thought it was the color in the rainbow that everyone forgets. Indigo.
No.
Indica. Okay, indigo.
Indica.
Well, but there's that purple car.
There's the purple car and the indica.
Yeah.
You do the indica and the purple car.
Yeah.
But the point is, Neo will tell you what her preferences are, and that she likes something that's strong on the indica. And then when he asks Venison what he likes, his answer is weed. I like weed. I have weed. The guy comes and brings me weed. So those are
strong weed.
Strong weed, comma strong. That is what.
Lightweight. Lightweight.
Lightweight nothing.
Old school, right?
Yes, that old school. On that note, it's time for us to go pass out and or feed the munchies. So good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good
night. The only thing, that's worse of that African shit. It's come pretty close.
Done 1.5 bowls.
I closed the Parakeet record. Otherwise, I would have just played that for a few minutes before closing out. Oh, here it is.
I think I'll take another hit.
Hello, baby.
Hello, baby.
Hello.
Want a kiss?
Baby.
Hello, baby.
Want a
Hello,
kiss?
baby. Want a kiss?
Hello,
Hello,
baby.
baby.
Want a kiss?
Want a kiss?
Want a kiss?
Hello, baby. Want a kiss?